So another episode of Fantasy Knockout concludes, and each and every single week of this anime continues to just truly be a freaking delight. Like, this anime was exactly what I felt like I needed today to just like really lift my spirits up. Like, today has been kind of just like one of those that, like, it's a Tuesday, it's another day kind of thing. But this anime definitely lifted me up from like a 5 to like an 8. It just in terms of spirits, just because of how like hilarious and funny this episode really was. Like, the scene that resonated the most with me, well, I guess there was two scenes, but the first scene that resonated the most with me, like, was absolutely when Jinguchi asked Tachibana, like, no, I'm sorry, when Jinguchi asked the worker, I forget what her name is, but the person who works at the guild, the girl who ended up having her poor clothes stripped off, poor girl. And honestly, and Tachibana thought it was a man the whole entire time. He kept calling her sir and stuff. But when Jiguchi asked her, like, hey, what's your salary for a civil worker, right? And she was like, I don't know if I'm gonna tell you, blah blah blah. And eventually she breaks and she's like, it's 100 gold per year. And then Jiguchi's like, because Tachibana was threatening to take her little crown off, you know? And Jiguchi's like, you are wearing 3 years of salary on your head. And Tachibana literally goes, ah. And it's because she's a 32-year-old male civil worker, right? So she totally gets how hard it is to earn income and just be a working level adult. And I was like, oh my God, that hit me in the feels. I was like, because if somebody came and said, hey, you're wearing that man or that lady's 3 times their salary on your arm or on your leg or on your head, you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that to them. And I like how that put it in perspective. And I like how the civil worker lady, I don't remember what her name is, but I like how she was like, why did you use my measly salary to get motivated? Like, it's just, that scene I really really laughed on, and B, it really resonated with me. The second scene that really just like really hit it didn't hit home, but like it hit home from like a comedy standpoint is when our knockoff Kirito finally goes through the apartment door that Tachibana is in. And he's like, this apartment kind of looks like a man's apartment. And Tachibana's like, I have to tell you something, buddy. And he's just completely demoralized and heartbroken. He's like, my first love ever, 32-year-old male civil worker. And Tachibana is like, I'm a evil girl. I'm a wicked girl. I took this boy's first love. Like, just thinking about it, it's just so effing hilarious. This anime is just so well written and so hilarious. On top of everything else that happened, you have them calling knockoff Kirito Schwarzenheimer. We all know that's not his real name, as he tried to hide it in his status plate or whatever. But we have him being called this and that the whole entire time, which I think was hilarious. We have them fighting that gigantic piece of armor metal thing, which ended up being like, there's like a little girl that ended up being inside of it the whole entire time. Apparently these people work for potentially the demon lord or they at least they work for some kind of evil entity or person or something, but they obviously don't work for free. They work for somebody. So they work for somebody, and Jiguchi's still trying to get down to the nitty gritty, and he's starting to realize that, hey, like, the demon lord is really just like, it's folktale, it's hearsay. Nobody really knows about the demon lord, whether it exists or not, or doesn't exist or anything else. So it's all just hearsay. But they are finding a group or, several people who are of more of the evil nature, who they do definitely work for somebody who I guess you could probably tagline them as the demon lord. Especially with the way that the girls who are evil reacted to it, saying, oh, well, the hero was reborn already. They called knockoff Kirito a background character. I was like, oh, no, they did that to our boy. But they are going to have a heavy interest in Jinguchi, just because obviously he was the one that destroyed the armor and stuff. So that's going to be very interesting. So I just love how this anime continues to have a driving, has really high comedy, has a driving force for like a story and plot that actually makes sense and has purpose. It's not the most like deep, story ever, but like it's there and you can follow it. And unlike a few other anime this season, like, they don't have a bunch of plot holes. They're like, the only real plot hole here is just like what are the god or goddesses trying to accomplish. That is really kind of the only thing that is really kind of outliers, but the rest of it is these two were summoned here. The goddess has a sense of humor, a change this man into a woman kind of thing. There is an entity they need to defeat. There's summoning more than one person here to try and accomplish the same thing. The god and goddesses are probably competing in some way, shape, or form. They're trying to discover more about the demon lord. So it's like you can follow what's going on, and I really appreciate that. So under the mystifyingness of the comedy that has been going on, there is a story there, and it is interesting enough to make me want to know more about all of it. And I really do appreciate that about this anime. It's just, okay, you have this level of hilarity, and you have a good story that's not like the best thing in the world, but it's good enough to where it's like, okay, it's serviceable, and it makes the anime even that much better knowing that it's not just reliant on this one trope or one thing that it does. It has more to it, especially if you're looking for it. So overall, I think episode 5 was really good. Another great week of our fantasy Bishoujo, our fantasy knockout. That's really appreciative. So really enjoy it. Can't wait for episode number 6. Can't wait to see what antics come up next now that we've discovered a few other interesting characters that are here. And the evil group will probably make themselves more known as the anime unfolds. So with that, I'll leave you guys on those notes. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode, and I'll see you, my friends, next week for the next episode of Fantasy Bishoujo.